clicking. We are not French. I wish I could learn, but look how pretty this art is. So, this is part of the FallinLove Fest. Oh, that's loud. Good night, Cerise. Mute everything. No. I thought that said Sabe. Sabe? Skip scene messages, yes. I know, Cerise perpetually having to go to bed. I mean, it's for the best. I think the stream time is a good indication of like, okay, Cerise, you've been up for way too long, you need to go to bed. When I start streaming, it's like, Cerise, it's your bedtime. It's your bedtime, go to bed. If you continue typing, then I know you're not in bed. It's like, you can be up, but this is your warning. This is me telling you it's your bedtime. I should just include that as like this, you know, the message that pops up when you start streaming that you can adjust. I should have it just written there. Also, it's Cerese's bedtime. Go to bed. If I had dyslexia, I would have refunded already. What a font. I don't think that's a written font, but yes, it is ye old English font. You gotta turn that Twitch app onto audio only beside your pillow. Use it as ASMR. That's if I had an ASMR-y voice. Instead, you'll get me like screaming every like 5 minutes and being like, ah! You know, having a really nice peaceful snooze and then suddenly, ah! That wouldn't really work. I keep getting recommended videos to sleep to, but they're like science videos to sleep to. And, you know, about the universe, about fish. I've just gotten into a really weird hole. Now I get gaming videos to sleep to, like not people playing games, but people talking about games. One of them was like an entire Sims lore video to sleep to. Like, okay. Aside from that though, I did watch an entire Sims 1 lore video, not to sleep to, but just to watch while I was putting up fairy lights. Guys, I put fairy lights all over my room. I've got it all over the side that has a piano because the piano side was looking really bare once I took away the cupboard that was behind it, which shouldn't have been there because, my goodness, my room was squished. Now it's more open and free. But it looks so magical. My sister came in and she was like, oh, is this why you ordered so many fairy lights? And then she was like, all right, but that would probably fix me. That would probably give me such a mood boost. I was like, right? I was so ready for her to be like, what a waste. And then she was like, wait, that actually looks so good. There was a physics teacher ASMR video. He quit and took it down and he does music. I think of him fondly. What? Coco's sister, Mocola Coco. I think Coco could do ASMR streams. I like your voice. I think there were moments where I did try, not realistically to be honest, but I remember with Boop, we were like talking about ASMR videos, and then Boop did like an ASMR thing, and I did an ASMR thing, but I realized that I'm not very good at ASMR things because I will start like, laughing in the middle of it, so I don't think I could. I think I would break character. Let's do ASMR for April and see how long we can be quiet. I'm thinking 1 second. It's like we would have to stop laughing, and when I get excited, my voice gets higher and higher and higher and more louder and louder and louder. Maybe not that. We could try. How about for the next Barbie stream? Barbie Magic of Pegasus. Or Barbie Princess and the Pauper. How about that? We do an ASMR stream and we'll see how long we last. We'll see how long. Barbie! I have to get your thing done first, but then. Okay. So disclosure for this game. Go to bed, Cerise. Disclosure for this game. I did get it from the developer, so I did not pay for the game. And they sent it over to me. They were like, oh, can you play this for the FallinLove Festival, or do you want to? And, you know, you can play it, like, whenever else you want, I guess. I was like, yeah, I like the vibe of it. It looks really good. So, Yeah, just to let you know, I did not buy the game. But I probably would have, to be honest. I think I didn't realize that they were supposed to give the game. Like, I mean, not that they were supposed to, but that it was a thing for them to, like, give the game during the festival. So in my head, I was just like, oh, I don't know when I can buy the game at the moment. I was gonna be like, yeah, but I'll buy it, like, later on. And I did realize that they were actually just going to give it. So anyway, I was gonna buy it. But we will jump into this. I know that it's got, like, a little bit of romance. You can choose like 3 characters or something. But it's mostly, I think that's like completely optional, which is interesting. Most of it is just going to be the story. Should we just start? Let's start. How did it all begin? Before my eyes was Assy. They're not using that font. Before my eyes was the most beautiful landscape one could imagine. Use my question. Yes. A vast blue sky, as far as the eye can see, a bright sky speckled with thin clouds. I could never have dreamed of a better place to honor my lost moments. In fact, it is almost a waste. The light is too dazzling, too powerful. I am falling apart on the spot. Thin strands of hair periodically obscure my eyes. My own weight takes me down in an endless freefall, lower and lower still. Yes, I am drowning in this gaseous immensity. Little by little, my thoughts turn into a confused jumble. My whole being becomes numb. I am blown away by the wind like a wisp of straw, swept far away according to its whim. The very contours of my being fade away. My memories, my essence, disappear. To tell the truth, as my body approaches the ground, as the impact becomes imminent, nothing matters anymore. I would like to say that I am scared, but I do not feel anything anymore. All I know is that I do not deserve what is up above. I do not deserve to fly. While my corporeal envelope shatters into pieces, my mind keeps moving. Particles float around my stiff and lifeless body. Everything becomes dark, silent. I do not know where I'm going, but I know that this is where I belong. There lies my punishment. I return to original darkness. How can I be forgiven? Congratulations, you're dead! Yay! Wake up in purgatory. What a great start. A rustle interrupted my slumber. My eyes opened by themselves, almost against my will, to reveal a blurry and gray world. Confused, I tried to move, but my body suddenly became so heavy that it would not respond. After long minutes spent struggling against myself, I finally began to twitch my fingertips. Twitch? Yet something was still holding me back. All of a sudden, I realized that I was not lying in my bed, just awakening from a long and pleasant dream. Sorry, pleasant night. I opened my eyes wide. I was standing, held against a wall by climbing plants tied to my limbs. A flexible botanical wall surrounded me wholly in some sort of protective and comfortable cocoon. Slightly pulling on the plants made them collapse and allowed me to entirely release myself. I could not stay here. I had to leave. Ooh! What is that? How was the sound, by the way? Is it all okay? Determined, I pierced the membrane with my own hands and stepped into the unknown. I found myself in a gigantic temple, plunged in half-light. The steps of leaves made me so unsettled, right? And then you see that. Pale lunar rays passed through from above the vault, which allowed my eyes to get used to the darkness and finally see what the night was hiding within. Turn it down. Did you maybe sound volume? You thought I was fumbling with a plastic bag. Yeah, that was a little bit loud. How about that? Save. Let's save. Oh, where was I? Blah, 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 blah. There were dozens and dozens of cocoons similar to mine, aligned all around me. I don't know why my voice is turning so gravelly. Whoa! I moved toward the nearest one and glanced through the gleaming translucent membrane. There was someone inside, a sleeping human being. The discovery deeply disturbed me. Despite my dry mouth and hazy mind, it seemed clear to me that those poor souls were being held captive against their will. I absolutely had to free them. As I was about to tear the lianas... Lianas? What does lianas mean? Lianas imprisoning the stranger's cocoon, I heard a bell tinkling behind me. I turned around. A strange figure was standing a few meters from me, a man or a woman, dressed in a long robe akin to a monk's, leaning on a cane, with her eyes fully covered by a black blindfold. Me? Who are you? What is this place? Instead of answering, the apparition simply beckoned me to come closer. I had a moment of hesitation. Lianas are those things Tarzan swings from. Oh, I thought they were just called vines. What's the difference between a vine and a lianas? After all, I did not know this person. There was no guarantee I could trust them. But it was also the only human being able to provide me with reasons of my presence in this enigmatic place. Could I even hope to understand without their help? As I was remaining motionless and mistrustful, my interlocutor reached for me. I sighed. In the end, this blind person appeared quite harmless. If they wanted to coerce me, they would have probably tried to do so earlier. Suspicious yet determined, I responded in kind and grabbed their hand. Then, they quietly took me through the temple. My greatest surprise, there were many other rooms like the one I awakened in, all filled with cocoons. This strange and dreamlike sight sparked my curiosity just as much as it confused me. I don't know. Where are we exactly? Why are there plants everywhere? Why do people sleep in cocoons? But my companion remained silent the whole way and simply led me to the exit, to my annoyance. At least tell me your name. Finally, I arrived outside. Before me, a desert scattered with ruins stretched out to the horizon. Destroyed buildings were engulfed by luxurious plants, yet the atmosphere was dry. A desert, but luxurious plants. Interesting. Gusts of wind irregularly created whirlwinds of dust from the muddy ground. In the firmament, a gigantic moon seemed to watch over the mysterious landscape. I felt strangely anxious, as if I had returned to a familiar place, a place lurking deep within my heart that I would have preferred to forget. My temporary guide brought me out my torpor by letting go of my hand and respectfully bowing down before me. Oh, bye! Wait! Before I had a chance to hold them back, they vanished into the depths of the temple again. At the same time, a group of young women came out of one of the buildings. They noticed me and readily rushed towards me, laughing. Oh, you just woke up? You must be a new shadow. The character voice is lighting up. I know. It's so funny. It happened in Fata Morgana, so it's like I can't even judge. It happens in the best of them and the worst of them, but we will never not have a sliding portrait. no matter what game we play. Did they do that in Hero 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 actually? I don't remember if they just like vanished from existence or if they slid off.
What's your dream? What's your dream? Tell us! Oh, come on, don't pressure him. The poor soul must be utterly lost. But it's the first time I meet someone who's just been born. I'm intrigued. I want to know what he saw.
I do not understand what you are talking about. Where are we? What exactly is this place? Why are there people sleeping in there?
Don't worry, we're gonna explain everything, but first you must tell us your dream.
Was it only a dream? I don't know anymore. I was cradled by plants and it was dark. I had to pierce the membrane.
But what was before that?
Before that, I think I was in the sky. A deep azure sky. That is the only thing I remember.
Oh, well, that's not very precise.
I mean, we died, so I don't know how our memories are gonna work.
Oh, Helianthus? I'm the dev, sorry for citing characters. There's gonna be a lot of that.
No, don't worry about it. It's a personal, like, it's something that we will always point out, but it's a very endearing quality no matter what game it's in. We were just talking about it being in Fata Morgana, and that game is like the most serious, dark, sad game in existence, and you'll have a character just slide off screen. It keeps the levity, like the unintentional levity for me. Especially when it's you know, very depressing, which from the way this game seems to be going, I feel like we're gonna get that, so.
Hello, though. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're free to, like, sit down, enjoy, or run off and do whatever. Whatever you want to do.
If a newborn claims he doesn't remember his dream, he is most likely a wavering shadow. We must take him to Lys as soon as possible.
You're right. His time is limited. He needs to find his dream quickly.
Lys? Please? Limited time? What is the meaning of this? What is going to happen to me? That's simple. We're going to take you to the wise woman of the village. She's the most knowledgeable person around. She'll know how to help you. I'll sit down and enjoy the beautiful voice. Thank you. You can call me Helia, by the way. Okay, that's a lot easier.
Absolutely, and she'll explain the entire thing far better than us.
It was anarchy in my head. I absolutely did not understand what was going on. None of the human beings I had crossed paths with thus far appeared hostile, but nothing sorry. Let me drink some water. Nothing made any sense. I half-heartedly let myself be guided through the ruins by my new friends. We met other people on the way, men and women of all ages, dressed with loose and relatively warm clothes, probably to protect themselves from the wind and aridity. Some of them were talking aloud on a threshold, others were building some terracotta huts, and some were pulling carts laden with tools. One could have thought it was an ordinary village, if not for this peculiar and unspeakable feeling, as if these people did not really exist. As if this hamlet was in fact inhabited by shadows. Maybe the fact that we can't see them very clearly. That's what would get me. Finally, the young woman stopped before a bivouac? It's a bivouac. A small group was gathered around the fire.
Step aside, it's important. We have to see Lys right now. It's true, we may have found a wavering shadow.
With these words, a voice both sharp and soft rose. Let me see. The villagers moved aside in a flash. Then I saw her. And now that's a trickster person if I've ever seen one. A young woman stood straight amidst the crowd, full of confidence. She was wearing a pure white dress that contrasted with the grey and dirty air. With a bright red cloak on her shoulder, she shook her brown hair and smiled mysteriously. Her piercing eyes saw right through my flesh. As if she had put a finger over my heart, a sharp pain ran through me. Her eyes reminded me of the sky, a great azure sky, and the coldness of the ground when my guts spilled onto the floor. Oh. I was falling. I was drowning. I was going to hit the floor. I was only fate's toy,
a thing without a will. Yes, that was my dream, a fall. But was it really a dream? The wind blowing in my hair felt so real, a light so bright. And before that, before falling, I was on a lighthouse's promontory.
A lot of big words for me.
I was watching over the landscape from the top of the tower. The air was fresh, just warm enough, and the sun was caressing my skin. Despite all that, I jumped. I was the one who did it. I killed myself. But why? I do not know. I do not remember why I did it. When I finally came back to my senses, the young woman was staring at me with a large smile.
Hey, girl. What's her vibe? I don't want to do silly voices for this. I'm so tempted to just pull out the, oh, you just got a piece of your memory back. That would be quite as appropriate. It's in the back of my throat. It's like, ooh.
You just got a piece of your memory back, right?
What? Who are you? I did not introduce myself. Where? Oh, that's her.
Oh, how stupid of me. I did not introduce myself. Where are my manners? I'm going to be with you.
Oh. I keep reading like the next part of the box and not the first.
My name is Liz. I'm this village's wise woman, and I'm going to be with you during your inner journey you're going to make in the following days.
I do not get it at all. What am I doing here? What is this place?
Don't worry. My job also entails telling you about the rules of this world. Let me begin with an overview of what's going on. Then you can ask me anything that you want. Is that all right with you?
It's not like I have much of a choice, do I?
Subject personality. Deeply pessimistic. I see. If that's how you're gonna be, go on. Ask me anything on your mind right now.
Is she a robot? Subject personality. Where are we? What is a shadow? I'll go with where are we? I know, the eyes. She's a bit silly. Maybe she does need that voice.
You're currently standing in a timeless space which doesn't have a real name, but you can think of it as a purgatory. In this world, the night is eternal. You'll never see the sun. There's no end to the moor wherever you go. Nobody knows if it leads anywhere at all. No one knows where these ruins come from, and nobody knows why we're the only ones wandering here. But we do know that we're not living beings. We don't need to eat or drink, much less sleep. We're just here. This is incidentally why we're calling ourselves shadows.
Okay, I see. I feel like you kind of explained that then.
By nature, a shadow's existence is cryptic. You wake up one day in the temple, you use your time as you see fit. Then one day, you go back to sleep without any explanation. That's what we call being born and dying. It's not really the best way to describe it because you can wake up multiple times, or sleep forever. It's a tradition for each shadow to be given a name based on the dreams that they had while they were sleeping in their cocoon. It is said that those dreams are in fact memories from your previous life. Your presence here is like a transition. If you manage to put your previous self behind you, you'll be able to come back to life and have a second chance. If not, you will be stuck here.
Does that mean I am dead?
Probably. It's not how you pictured the afterlife, right?
Well, let us say it is rather surprising.
I suppose it would be better for one to know the basics of
metempsychosis beforehand, but that is not very common. This is suddenly very familiar. Where's the fireplace?
Strangely enough, as long as we are alive, we never worry too much about what comes after. Rebirth and the transmigration of souls, or transmigration, I should say. These concepts seem so distant to us.
I know, it's like we're waking up after dying and going on a journey back into our old life.
Very, very familiar. When it is time to die, no one is ever ready.
What exactly happens during a shadow's birth? What's going to happen to me?
Oh, that's quite simple. The village council will gather to give you a name. Then, we'll let you live among our tribe until the next time you are called to sleep. If you wake up once again in the future, we will give you a new name, and so forth.
That's it?
Most of it. That's the usual process when someone wakes up with clear memories of their dream, at least. Sometimes a shadow only has partial or blurry memories, so we can't give them a proper name, and then we send them over to the mansion. That's what wavering shadows are, people stuck between worlds, whose flame could vanish at any moment.
Why are wavering shadows different? What happens when shadows don't recall their dream? I guess I get stuck here forever?
I can't tell you why some people have it easier than others when it comes to remembering their dreams, but I have my own theory. In my opinion, it's a matter of individuality. Not everyone is ready to put things behind them, especially if they have lived a hectic life. There's also a high rate of wavering shadows among those who have killed themselves in the past. I imagine it's because they arrived here with the desire to forget.
That's fair. What happens if I don't recall my dream? I couldn't help but gulp as I waited for the answer.
The wavering shadow is locked in the purification hole for several days, so they can meditate and get rid of the mist in their mind. After those days, if they manage to get their memories back, they have the right to join us. But if they fail, they are denied. The wavering shadows who fail to overcome this trial are cursed. You will lose the ability to see as well as the ability to speak.
Oh, like that lady that helped us.
There will only be one way left to atone for your sins: to become one of the temple's priests. Like that
person I met when I woke up. They were blindfolded, and they would not speak to me.
They were indeed a priest, so they could not answer you.
I get it now.
Priests watch over the temple. That's where most of the shadows wake up, and where the fated shadows come to sleep.
So, you do not do anything special to keep them asleep?
Not at all. Actually, the shadows who are on the verge of fading are irremediably drawn to this place, and come stand next to the walls by themselves. Then plants grow little by little over their bodies and cover them. You can consider your cocoon an extension of your body.
That's gross.
I find it rather poetic, you know. Anyway, the priests lost their existence and now spend their lives serving the community. Some occasionally patrol around the world and try to find shadows who wake up in other places. It is a noble but lonely mission.
There is no other way to save wavering shadows.
I'm glad you asked. You see, in the past we would simply throw them into the purification hole and wait for them to overcome their trial by themselves. When I came here, I offered to help wavering shadows recall their past lives using a method called mnemotherapy.
Like memory therapy?
That's why those girls brought you to me.
I'm scared. What is mnemotherapy?
The whole process simply involves analogy. I just tell stories that involve universal themes suited to my interlocutor's personality. Then, they have to draw parallels with their past life of their own. So we're not the donkeyskin girl. My method might appear childish to you, but it does help stimulate the memory.
All I have to do is listen to you and react when something sounds familiar.
Exactly. I'm going to make you explore a Uchronia, and you'll have to find pieces of your memory.
A Uchronia?
You must be familiar with the concept of utopia, a place that does not exist. For my part, I let people travel through times that do not exist, temporal utopias. I had the opportunity to visit in the past
a Chronotopia, if you will. Aha! Wait, what do you mean by visit? I thought there was nothing else beyond the moor.
I'm not fond of getting into details because it's rather hard to swallow, but let's say I have the huge privilege of being the only one able to leave the village.
So there is an exit to this place?
Well, not really. It's hard to explain. Do you really wish to know?
Of course I do.
Basically, I am able to travel from one world to another. They're all closed spaces, but I can walk between worlds to find my way. I can't be seen by the inhabitants of those other worlds, but I can watch many things. That's why I'm able to take you with me in a Uchronia. That's why I'm a respected member of the village. Nobody else is able to do this.
You want me to witness past events you have already seen yourself? How is that even possible?
Well, yes and no. Like I said, they are Uchronias. Temporal utopias. Does a temporal utopia even mean? Time works differently there. I can go back to the creation of a world if I so desire.
Okay, why you?
Well,
This looks very uncomfortable. She took a deep breath and shot a profoundly gentle look at me.
well, shadows are not really people to begin with. And the things that you see in your dreams are not really from your past life. In fact, we are ideas. All of us. Our dreams are our concepts. But a concept is a shifting thing. It's quite normal to be put to sleep and come back to life as a new variation of that concept. The thing is, no one here realizes it, or rather no one wants to admit it, because if there's an idea that there's someone who thought of that idea, and being the toy of some unseen being is not pleasant. I'm the only one here who accepted myself as an incomplete idea, and embraced my true essence. That's all.
So I could do that then. So I could do that too then. Ideas. Ideas cannot feel and think. Never mind. That is ridiculous. We have to be human. Never mind.
See, I knew you wouldn't believe me. Still, that's the truth. This place does have a name. The Ideas Graveyard. You and I are both incomplete characters in a story that has never been told. That's why we're doomed to be born again and again, hoping to achieve our final form and obtain the acceptance of our maker.
Me is much too stubborn for that. That is preposterous. Oh, I'm starting to get a better idea of who me is.
You know what?
Let's just forget it. Let's just forget it. Forget that whole conversation. You have to be a human being. I was only joking. Ha 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 ha. That was so funny. I knew it. That was one weird metaphysical ramble you went on. It didn't make sense at all. Oh no. Anyway, how do you manage to travel from one world to another?
With magic.
I'm a witch. Voila. Nothing more to know about me. We can learn how to use magic.
No, you can't. Only I am able to do it because I'm special. I'm the chosen one.
She's so tired. She told him exactly what he needed to hear, and he didn't agree. And now she's just like having to speed up making up some bullshit story for him. I feel so bad for poor Liz. I get it. You should have told me that sooner.
I hate you all so much sometimes. Tell me about the Uchronias. Like I said earlier, Uchronias can be defined as events, most often paradoxical ones lost in time.
That's a lot to take in for somebody who just died. Oh, for sure. For sure. I don't know how I would react. Maybe I'd just be like, hell yeah, let's be witch friends. I can be a witch too. I'll be a witch. She'll be like, oh, how soon can I get rid of you?
I especially focus on fairy tales, not because they are extremely well suited for the exercise, but because everyone thinks they already know them.
Which means?
You probably think you know everything about the original fairy tales, right? However, there are dozens and dozens of versions for each story. And they all come from various lands in the same country. Sometimes the story can unfold in an entirely different way.
It's true. How many versions of, like, Cinderella do we have? Way too many, I think.
If you think about it, how can you tell what is wrong and what is right? I've got the answer.
Really?
Today, I'm going to show you the truth behind a fairy tale you must have heard about. I'm going to show you what really happened, and you'll realize that different versions of the story don't necessarily contradict each other. It's actually quite the contrary. They're all true at the same time.
I'm not sure I understand what truth there is in fairy tales.
You'll understand when we get there, trust me.
A new file has been added to the archives. Take this.
Each time you will be confronted with a lesser-known fairy tale, you'll be able to take a look at my notes. It's not much, but I hope you'll find them instructive. Okay.
I wonder if I can access it anywhere. Me too, just listening. I can't help but see Liz like the person at a customer service desk. No, for real. I see Liz as like, she's had to deal with probably so many people who have come in here and had to have the exact same conversation. And dealt with the same result. The fact that she even gave us the real story instead of like, you know, jumping into, I'm a witch and I'm gonna use magic to help you, is like indicative of her ability to believe that someone out there could maybe believe too.
You're the curious kind. I like that.
She can't even go out for a cheeky Nando's. It's so sad. Maybe if she found someone like her who could also believe, they can imagine a cheeky Nando's.
To be honest, I'd rather have active and keen companions, ready to face any challenge. It's a lot better than having lazy ones who just follow you around without saying a word.
I know that this isn't supposed to be, like, to do with Font Morgana in any way, but this is so funny. All I'm picturing is like her seeing the maid and you know, the master like running around the mansion, and the maid kind of dealing with the master like just not saying anything and pulling him around to all these new stories and everything and being like, I don't want that. That's not my vibe.
I hope that means you're in the former category. Well, anyways, we're both going to the Purification Hall, and I will perform a ritual to take your soul with me. Without your spectral body, you will just be a drifting perspective, a mere spectator. I will let you witness the events of the story without intervening. The rest will be up to you. When we get to the fairy tale world, you're bound to witness key moments in the story that are similar to what you have experienced in your own past. The difficulty is that you obviously don't know what is going to lead you to your identity. Everything is going to come down to a feeling. In other words, not much. That's why I've developed a tool to make your pilgrimage a little easier. Take this. It's a rock crystal. The properties are rather special, and it's been infused with magic. Yay! As soon as you reach a key moment, the crystal will resonate with your lost memories, and the scree, your surroundings, will light up like this to warn you.
Okay. So that's when we have a moment where we're like, we're really vibing with this character. We really get this scene.
Once you've correctly identified a key moment, the real hard work begins. To get a chance to retrieve your memory, you absolutely need to grab the memento, which is the material or immaterial source of that alert.
What if it's a person? Do we grab them?
If you're not sure what to do when the crystal starts to flicker, try to touch everything you see. You may come upon the memento by chance.
So I have to click on the screen. Okay.
All right. Regardless, the memento will instantly turn into a quartz after being found. Once the tale is over, we'll come back here, and I will transform all your quartz into true memories. The more you have in your possession, the more chances you get to piece the puzzle back together and remember who you used to be. I'm counting on your alertness to bring back as many as possible. I have a list. If you have any doubt, the fragments you have collected are viewable at any time from your satchel. Practical, right? Incidentally, the rock crystal I'm lending you provides plenty of potentially interesting information. You can use it to have an idea of what your progression in the fairy tale is, for example. Recently, it also started to detect strange little creatures who are hiding everywhere. Collectibles! I call them elementals because they are spirits based on the 4 elements.
My nose is getting blocked.
Water, fire, wind, and earth. Quite frankly, I don't know what they are. And I don't know why the rock crystal decided to reveal them. Maybe you'll obtain something if you manage to collect them all. I don't know. Anyway, it's easy to let yourself get carried away by the story and miss memory fragments, so keep your eyes open. I think we're done with the questions. Are you satisfied with my answers?
I think so. It's quite hard to determine what I could ask, since the whole world is a mystery in itself. You have probably already thought about everything I could think of, and I bet you would like to know the answers as much as I do.
Indeed. As you may have noticed, though one eventually gets used to living in purgatory, that does not mean we have no interest in learning more when possible.
Collectibles in a visual novel? Absurd. Absurdity.
Anyway, I think you're ready, and we don't have any time to waste. Follow me to the temple, and we'll perform the ritual right away. With a lovely smile on her face, Liz stretched a hand toward me, and I took it. Though I did not understand everything about the purgatory I was in, I felt like I had nothing to lose by following her. With an anxious heart, I went to the temple to look for my pass. It's really nice that everyone in the purgatory is so keen on helping the newbies. I think that's really sweet. What a nice community. I love the art in this temple. It's so pretty. Am I even capable of remembering, of atoning? Don't be afraid, you're not alone. This is a mirror of your soul.
Oops. Yeah, unless you lose your voice and vision. But I mean, what can they do?
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away.
We're in the story.
Descendant of a great family from the Mauritania, who had settled in Europe, the princess was as wise as she was beautiful.
Oh, you know what? This is a good time to do a break, actually. I want to make a cup of tea. And I actually did not prepare a glass of water, so I'm going to do that too. I am back. And I opened up one of my special bed and blends. So I got a rose and cardamom tea. It smells really good, but also very spicy. Not like spicy, but you know what I mean. Coco jump scare. Not the Coco jump scare. I'm so sorry. All right, guys, let's hydrate. I expect everyone to have taken a huge sip. And 2 of those today. And let's begin. We turn the game back. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready to get into the meat of this? Descendant of a great family from Mauritania who had settled in Europe, the princess was as wise as she was beautiful. With a thirst for justice and strong personality, she was soon handed the reins of the country. Wow! Her wealth came from a magical donkey she had inherited from her ancestors. The animal could produce gold and jewels at will. She collected them to erect roads and buildings, which would serve the interest of her people. Under her reign, works of art and projects of all sorts were developed. Her people lived without ever having to fear hunger, since she always found a solution. The attention she had for her people, as well as the vast power her wealth had gave her, made the young princess hugely respected across the country, and everyone praised her. God seemed keen on satisfying her in return. The princess indeed fell deeply in love with a young, inexperienced but honest noble who had eyes for nobody else. He was from a famous family of 12 sons. Since he was one of the last born, he lacked attention and desired to settle far from them. He lacked attention. I don't know, that's so funny. He had ADHD and a desire to settle far. I know that's not what it meant. Far from them so he could write his own tale. She gave him love and respect, and he asked for nothing more. From their marriage, a lovely daughter was born, and she was already on the path to become as wise and brave as her mother. Year after year, the king and the queen ruled together as fairly as possible. And I hope that donkey doesn't die. The magical donkey from which came her wealth was treated well, and the couple's life seemed perfectly desirable. A magical atmosphere hung over the realm,
and there were rumors the queen had to be part fairy to meet success in everything she was doing. No other country looked more like a fairy tale come true than this one. As the couple was enjoying their life, full of ideas to make their country a better place, misfortune eventually struck. The queen, who everyone thought invulnerable, fell critically ill. Even though the king called the best physicians in the world, nobody was able to find a cure for the sickness that was devouring the queen from the inside. They need the magic flower! Days passed. Citizens were getting more and more restless. The family more and more depressed, but to no avail. Realizing she was going to draw her last breath, the queen spoke to her husband on her deathbed. She was still young, and she would have gladly kept working on all major undertaken projects. But she was even more remorseful for leaving her husband and her daughter so soon, as she loved the both of them so tenderly. So many things to do, so many memories to have, so many beautiful moments to live. Alas, pain was carving a deep chasm into her chest. As the king was leaning over and stretching a hand towards her, with the saddest look he ever had, she was struggling to tell him her lost wills, her face partially paralyzed, ridden with painful spasms. Queen exhaled excruciating moans. "My dear, this is the end for me."
Hush, do not say a thing. Do not wear yourself out. I still believe. I have to believe. We will find a cure. You will be better soon, I promise.
"It is hopeless. I know this."
No, I cannot believe it.
"Before I depart, I would like you to do something for me. I love you, you know it, and I love the princess too. I cannot stand imagining you crying over my death for too long. I want you to be happy above all else."
What are you trying to imply, my dear?
"I know how you are. You will not be able to accept my death. You have always searched for my eyes, for my attention.
Oh, that's what they meant by he lacked attention, as in no one was there for him.
I already know all too well how sad you will be. You will not be able to mourn my death until the end of time."
I would rather follow you in death than live without you, my lady.
You have a child to take care of. How silly.
The kingdom needs you. Our daughter needs you. Do not leave them behind, even for my sake.
But
Sooner or later, you will have to overcome my death. I want you to live, my beloved. I want you to live for me.
I will never stop thinking about you.
In that case, please allow me to request something. I insist that you remarry. Find someone who will make you happy again. Someone who can take my place in the eyes of the people, of our daughter, the princess.
I cannot do this. Nobody will ever replace you in my heart.
I know it is painful. It is painful for me as well. Deep down, I feel so angry imagining you in the arms of somebody else. But I'm not selfish. I want you to be happy above anything else. If I am not here anymore, I at least want a woman as wise as me to know how to heal your heart. That is my last wish."
How could I fulfill such a cruel request? You are the only one my heart craves. The only one.
The queen laughed sadly. Fever and pain were gnawing at her. Soon, it became near impossible for her to talk. Her eyes were getting more and more obfuscated, to the point that she was unable to make out her husband's grieving face as he cried beside her. Stretching a hand towards him, towards the light, she started rubbing his cheek one more time. Regretful, she could not help silently shedding tears. The aching was becoming so intense, she was gradually losing her touch with reality. "My fate is such a cruel one. I only want to live by your side, to bask in your innocent smile for all eternity. Yet I have to go. That is God's will. I do not want to. Of course I do not. It is too soon. There are still so many things I have to do. It's too late, however, and I cannot do anything but face it. The mere idea of being replaced is harrowing. To imagine someone else living in my quarters, ordering my retainers, settling in my home. To think someone else in your arms, embracing you, kissing you, giving you new airs. To think about someone else gaining the affection of my daughter, attending her wedding, raising and supporting her. It's making me die inside, jealousy eating what remains of me. I would rather still be here. I would rather have lived those beautiful days forever. But it's impossible. Even if it pains me, even if the thought is unbearable, you must find happiness. You must forget me. That is so painful to me. You probably thought I would face death with dignity, that I would be stoic and calm, and that is how people see me. But I am only human. I wish I had been more righteous. But amidst this pain that is tearing my body to dust, all that remains are regrets. Thus, they bid a tearful farewell to each other. Sometime later, the queen died in unbearable suffering.
They couldn't have, like, let her off easy? And the king was inconsolable.
As sensitive and deeply in love as he was, he considered that no girl from any good family could ever rival his late wife. He consequently refused to remarry and swore to never change his mind.
Well, she asked for one thing.
The whole kingdom was mourning the death of its queen. One of the greatest ceremonies ever made was organized in her honor. It went on for several days and nights. Whether farmer or merchant, rich or poor, each citizen took part in the funeral. They decorated the city with lanterns in several places. Some water lanterns were even put on the Great Lake for her sake.
It's just giving Tangled, but without the magic flower.
At night, the candles could be seen all the way from the Lord's castle. The young princess, who was as sorrowful as her father, found comfort in admiring those lights. The flickering lights looked like spots of hope to her. But the country seemed to be consumed by its steadfast evil, harbinger of storms. Things would never be the same again. As the years passed, the kingdom slowly declined. The king lost any hint of motivation. He could not bring himself to do anything since his wife had died. He cancelled all the great works the country was working on, thinking they had lost all meaning without her, and locked himself up in stillness and silence.
Wow.
The citizens felt neither heard nor supported, and discontent was growing. The king did not care. It almost seemed like he was trying to be hated by his people. Only the magical donkey was keeping the kingdom from going bankrupt.
This poor donkey.
However, the inevitable happened. The donkey's fame went beyond the kingdom's border, and several neighboring and wealth-seeking lords tried to invade the lands, leaving them scarred by wars. The once lively castle now a shadow of its former self. Artists and merchants were fleeing one after the other, looking for more auspicious lands. The people lost all faith in their lord. At first, the king's apathy and inexperience were convenient for the nobles. Since he was handling the country rather poorly and was showing no sign of resistance, opportunistic counselors took advantage of the situation to seize control of the realm and get richer behind his back. However, the decadent mood was not so convenient anymore. After some time, but was it not already too late? The counselors realized that there was nothing to be expected from the current king, who had become impassive. They had to do something fast, for the greater good. Factions appeared. Some thought the king could still take care of the realm until the princess's wedding, with whom would be the new king. Others precisely hoped for the princess to seize the throne earlier than expected, and others advised the king to find a new wife, who could revive his will, or even that he go back to his homeland and leave the country with a new government. Yeah, honestly. The most extremist nobles had no problem suggesting taking care of the king once and for all, but the last option would not satisfy anyone. They all lived in the wake of the previous queen, and they all wanted to honor her memory, but no one seemed to understand what she had been trying to build.
You
file. Because of those long struggles, King Thibaud was asked to find a new wife day after day. However, he was obstinately refusing to do so. His most faithful counselors were growing desperate. But Your Excellency, the whole kingdom's fate is at stake. You cannot remain impassive while some are scheming for your death or replacement. Not his twin! Exactly! Your lack of action is folly. You must choose someone to live by your side, to put an end to those complaints weighing on your shoulders.
Is there another? Are they triplets?
I do not care. Let them kill me if that's what they want. To follow my queen is my only wish.
You cannot say that, Your Excellency. The queen would always think of the kingdom's best interests. If you give up the realm, you betray her memory.
So be it.
If you don't want to manage the kingdom, why keep the masquerade going? You should have married the princess off much earlier. Think of your daughter. It's time for her to see something else.
Yo, he's right.
My daughter, the princess, may hate me for all I care. The whole kingdom, too. Nobody will ever be as
Great as my departed wife. Your poor daughter.
But my lord!
Enough. I do not want to see you anymore for today. Be gone. Leave me alone.
This guy sucks. Oh, the background art is incredible. The moving trees? What? Horrified, the counselors could feel the kingdom's ruin looming. Let's just off this guy. I think those nobles are right. While some were already planning a coup d'etat, I'm telling you, just do it. And we're fighting over some arbitrary throne. The loyalists thought they had to find a way to pierce through the king's walls. Those twins are so right. To get a better understanding of the king's psyche, they called an old druid. That's always a good idea. It's giving Merlin.
Go and try to convince King Thibaud to find a new wife. We're ready to do anything to make him change his mind, regardless of whom would be the wife he chose.
This guy is suspicious.
Do not worry, sirs. Just sit by.
I'm scared. The druid, who was dishonest but quite crafty, happened to be peerless when it came to influencing the human soul. I don't know if this is the best idea. As soon as he appeared before the gloomy king, he made a great impression, thanks to the mysterious look he had perfected. Old and decrepit.
Nuit Noir.
I love that the music just pops in, like, to show us what it is, just in case you want to look it up. I always, like, struggle to find music.
Your Highness, your counselors invited me here today because they are worried about your health. Speak freely. What is weighing on your heart?
The death of my wife, of course. I've lost any desire to live. Since she died in my arms, I cannot see nor hear. I keep brooding over the past again and again.
I understand. The Queen's ghost still haunts you. You are a prisoner of the past.
Yet could the spell be broken? You wish for the good of the kingdom, do you not?
Naturally, I wanted to follow through with her work. I wanted to be strong. I let myself be shut away by time and decay. It is far too late now.
Well, if I may, I think there is a solution. You have to find a young woman who can become the new queen.
No one can do it. I've taken a look at the portraits of all the neighboring girls from good families, ready to be wed. They've been sent to me. All of them. Not a single woman with her qualities.
Yet you did not meet with any of them. Why not give them a chance to show you who they are?
It does not matter. I know it.
Could it be? You are taking the Queen's last wish to heart and you are only ready to wed a far more beautiful woman than she was?
The queen should have been like, marry a maid. I don't care. Just marry. That's what her last word should have been. I mean, cease to say. Obviously, if I were dying, I wouldn't be like, marry anyone. I would be like, you should live in suffering for the rest of your life. That's what I would say, probably.
Beauty's indeed enjoyable, but I don't care about it. I only ask her to be wise, smart, righteous.
Are you looking for someone who shares her traits?
Don't marry Coco! It's like, oh, I'm gonna die and you're gonna continue living, so you're gonna have to like bear the weight of my death. You better bear a significant weight. There will be no reprieve. What are you doing? What are you doing? The king stood still. Given the awkward silence, the druid knew he was right. The king did not just want any princess. He wanted someone who looked like his departed wife as much as possible. Oh no. And if there were a Moorish princess, would you consider marrying her?
Maybe.
Just put plastic surgery over someone.
Your Highness, I know only one such person. One righteous and wise princess who looks exactly like a departed queen. She lives near you at the moment. Who might that be?
I have a portrait of her with me.
I don't like this.
I think it's the only one you did not glance at. I don't like this.
Why would my counselors hide this mysterious princess from me?
Well, see for yourself. Get this guy out of here. The ambitious druid handed the portrait to the aging king. He grabbed it and paced up and down across the room in revealing silence.
She is magnificent. The face, the skin, this expression. She is lovely. You are telling me she is wise and righteous?
Absolutely, Your Highness. She has received the best education.
I recognize those eyes. I could swear I am looking at my wife. How is this possible? Who is this foreign girl?
He doesn't know what his daughter looks like. She's Princess Kiona, your daughter, Your Majesty. Oh no.
My daughter?
The king was shocked. Depression had taken hold of him to the point of cutting him off from reality. Oh no. To be honest, he had refused to see his daughter since the queen's funeral. Her mere presence reminded him of those beautiful days lost forever. He hadn't even seen her. He did not even know what she looked like or what kind of woman she had become. He felt shameful, and you should.
Are you making a fool of me, Druid? Are you telling me to marry my own daughter?
Well, admittedly, it must sound rather extreme, but think about it. Your Highness, is there someone else who could look more like your departed wife than her?
I remember the content warning about incest at the beginning of the stream. I think, hopefully, it was attempted incest. So I don't think it happens, potentially. I remember in the original story, it reminds me of another VN. No, why does it always come back to that one? It's gotta be in every VN, apparently. Every VN that we play. I think this is when she finds out that this happens and she dresses up as a donkey to run away. Because she'll look as ugly as she can. She dresses up as a donkey. I think that's what happens. I don't know how it's gonna change here though. This druid! Get him out of here! Get him out of here! No, you're not supposed to go through and marry the dads. I hope not. That was portrayed as more tragic and horrifying. What, the other VN or the original story? Because I think, yeah, definitely both.
A divine gift, you say? Wait, what did he say?
What is this button? Oh. That's autoplay, I think. Oh, okay. Not this one. Let me use my mouse, actually. Does that go back? Oh, there's a go back button.
Oh my god, there's a go back button. This should be in everything. This should be in every VN.
And then that's a skip forward. Let's not press that one.
Princess Kiona looks too much like her departed mother for it to be a mere coincidence. This is God's will.
Get him out of here.
The Queen's soul did not go to heaven. It settled in that younger, tailor-made body. She is waiting for you to find her, my lord. Do not miss the second chance.
Oh, get him out of here. Why did we let him come in? But also, it's crazy for the king to even go along with this. Oh my god, confused by the old druid's silver-tongued words. King Thibord hesitated and eventually sent the man away, claiming he would think about it. The original story was quite neutral, sometimes even cynical in some variations. There's a French movie that's weirdly flippant about the incest. Oh no. I feel like there's been several like French variations of things that were like, yeah. Let's go for that. Wait, wasn't it the French version of Merlin? Not Merlin, the French version of the Arthurian legends were like included the incest plotline with Morgana and Arthur? I think that was it. I think it was a French version that included that. I decided horrifying was the best tone. Yeah, I think that's a good choice. Where are my twin counselors? Get them back in here. Get them back in here. The seed had already been planted. Weakened by his unstable state, the king was already struggling not to succumb to despair. The flickering hope that swindling druid had brought to him was enough to make the king fall into darkness. Little by little, over the course of increasingly frequent visits from the man who had become his confidant, the king started to give in to the idea. No! The druid had a way of implying the young princess was actually the reincarnation of her mother, and that she surpassed her in everything. So much so, the impressionable king eventually believed him. This new obsession was the only thing which kept him alive from this point forward, and thus he did the unforgivable. Not the domestic life playing after that. Not domestic life playing after all of that. Once again, the backgrounds are beautiful. But what a jump. That morning, a sweet scent hung in the castle's corridors. Are we going to see the princess? The azure sky hinted at a beautiful spring day ahead. I'm so curious how this is going to tie into me, the guy from before. In the feeble light illuminating... This is crazy, actually. It's like the first story that we jump into, which I think is the main story anyway, is this plotline. The parallels are crazy. In the feeble light illuminating a four-poster bed, a silhouette was quietly moaning. All of a sudden, hurried footsteps could be heard nearby, and the door was slammed open. A breathless young retainer entered the suite. Hey, girl. Domestic. I don't think that's her name. Princess, it's time to wake up. A muffled groan was her only answer. I would love to let you sleep, but I cannot do so, unfortunately. Do not forget that your private tutor has scheduled a lesson for this morning. The figure moved laboriously. Laboriously, I should say. Oh my god, Kiona! I guess we'll go quite... I feel like she's gonna be... I mean, she's a main character of this story, of the donkeyskin story. I don't want to give her anything silly. Is that you, Nahima? Who else, princess? I'm the one waking you up every morning. Now please make haste and get out of bed. We need to perform your toilet. Toilette? The young woman stood up without a word and let her lady-in-waiting guide her. Through precise and vigorous gestures, she made her take a bath,
then took care of dressing her.
I've been reading so many villainous webtoons that the idea of, like, you know, being dressed up and, like, you know, taken care of and all of that stuff is so normal in my head. I'm like, that's just a normal thing.
Just as the retainer was going to brush her hair, Kiona finally seemed to get out of her torpor. What is that flowery scent that has been tickling my nose since this morning?
I mean, it must be Verbana's, princess. It is the season after all.
Verbanas are quite exquisite flowers, don't you think? All those colors. Maybe. I see you are not fully awake yet. Did you happen to spend a rough night? I do not know. All that I remember is I dreamt for quite a long time.
And what did you dream about, princess? That I was with you, that I was queen, that I was alone. Oh my god. I don't want to dream that because either that means that our dad is dead or that we are married to our dad. And that might not be the best way to start up in the day. I don't want to be alone. Let's see about this one, that I was with you. How's she gonna react to that? Some choices will impact the story later on. Uh-oh. In a good way?
We were both in a vast flower field on a sunny day. I think you were weaving a crown while claiming me your queen.
Oh. I mean, it sounds so romantic.
Romantic I don't know. However, I clearly remember I was feeling incredibly serene. Do you think this is a good omen?
Assuredly. In any case, that is all I wish you.
Your dream was surely very pleasant, princess, but you should not fall asleep again.
Guys, my nose is getting blocked. This happens every time I read a VN. What is this curse? I'm clearing up. I'm drinking some water.
Ahem. Do not forget that your lesson is supposed to start soon. Do not worry about me, Nahima. I am quite positive the poor sod will be late again anyway.
Princess, don't speak ill of your tutor. He's an excellent teacher.
And what does he plan for today?
I don't know. We've completely given up on the arithmetic over the past couple of days. We're focusing on practicing singing. Oh, that's Kiona. We've given up on arithmetic. We're focusing on practicing singing and playing the harp. You're only studying music? Why?
That's a request from my father, or so it seems. I don't know why.
I've not seen him for years, not since you were a baby, apparently.
I thought he had no more interest in me.
I'm sure the king is simply shy.
He can get on his high horse. He may not even dare to be near you after your mother's death. I think he resents me.
And why would that be?
One way or another, he must be ashamed of me. He surely found a mistress after all this time, and sooner or later, he will tell me he wants to repudiate me.
Repudiate? You can all save if you're unsure. Choices determining which character you end up with. Ah, I had a feeling. That won't be right. That won't be correct of him.
In that case, why has he not tried to marry me off? I'm 17 years old. Is it not unusual?
I think he forgot you existed. I think he forgot you existed.
I do like the freedom, but I cannot shake the feeling it is a bad omen. After all, young girls from good families are wed between 12 and 14.
Good news! Girl, do I have some great news for you.
I'm getting old, and at this rate,
Nobody will ever want to marry me. He loves you and is planning to marry you off at the same time. No! Oh, that's a cute style. With a lovely face like yours, perish the thought. You're as beautiful as an angel, princess. And as smart as that. No prince should ever refuse your hand.
Thank you, Nahima. It is nice of you to comfort me.
You know I mean it, girl.
Look at that beautiful hair. I could brush it for hours without getting bored.
Fiona gave a faint but tender smile.
Nahima had been her lady-in-waiting, her personal assistant, and her confidant for many, many years. As far as she could remember, they had been inseparable. Older by only 2 years, Nahima happened to share the heiress's Mauritanian origins. However, unlike Kiona's family, which had always consisted of famous nobles, Nahima's humbler family had settled in the region as retainer. The late queen herself had trusted the young Mauritanian servant, and that was how she had become the princess's lady-in-waiting, despite her humble origins. She was now greatly enjoying taking care of the princess, and the sudden death of the queen had only brought them closer.
So she wasn't a baby then when the queen died, it seems. She must have been, like, just quite young.
It was, without a doubt, Nahima's optimism and kindness that were allowing Kiona to live a comfortable life despite the grim state of the country. Between the lessons intended to hone her knowledge and the time spent with her retainer, the heiress was not lacking in anything. Yet she was feeling deeply bored, and to her dismay, no party could ever awaken the sleeping castle. If things keep going like this, I am going to die of old age within these walls, she thought. A bit melancholic. No one will ever look for me, no one will ever come to save me, and I will end up alone in this depressing place. She did not want to show Nahima her anguish, so she tried her best to smile. With the brushing done, the two girls left the room to attend to their occupations. Once the servant was out of sight, the princess sighed. Even though Nahima was her confidant, and she trusted her, there was only one thing Kiona had never told her. Something was troubling her. She sometimes felt like she was being watched, especially on a day like this one. Uh-oh. As the weather was sunny, her tutor enjoined her to go to the palace's inner garden to begin her recital. As she had foreseen, the princess felt someone insistently looking at her as she was singing, a gaze that was coming from the king's cabinet.
Front row. Terrifying. Terrifying. As usual, the king was observing his daughter from afar, staring at her with a desire that was not hidden anymore. Get him away! The old druid had grinded him down, and now the king was as desperate as he was convinced he had to marry her. That day, his counselors had gathered at his request. He was going to inform them of his decision. Oh my god. The mood was heavy. Everyone felt something major was about to happen. They were as worried as they were eager to hear what the king had to say. Thank you all for coming. As you know, many of you have been begging me to remarry. Until now, I was quite against it, as I wanted to keep the promise I made to my late wife. However, I finally found someone worthy of replacing her, sitting beside me on the throne.
Yay! The round of applause filled the room. The council seemed both incredulous and ecstatic.
No, king, don't take the daughter-wife pill from the druid, it's like... Oh god.
Thank you for making that decision, your highness.
Don't thank him yet.
You may have thought of us as insensitive, but we were only doing it for your sake and the kingdom's.
Absolutely. We are sure the women you have chosen will be up to the task. Could you tell us who the lady who managed to entice you might be? Of course, I will not hide the truth for much longer. She whom my heart has chosen is Princess Kiona. I hereby officially announce my decision to marry her. In a shared movement of fear, the counselors fell silent. Some thought they had misheard. Others that it was a misunderstanding. One brave soul decided to break the ice and shyly asked, Princess Kiona? Your daughter? My daughter, indeed. Loud whispers fill the king's cabinet. A mix of horror and bewilderment could be seen on the faces of the nobles. Time seemed to have stopped, and the cheerings had been replaced by contempt and cold glares. Another counselor dared to speak. But your highness, with all due respect, you cannot marry your own daughter. The church says... Do you not swear a few seconds ago to accept my choice, whatever it would be? Are you never satisfied? I'm finally fulfilling your wish. This is still not enough. Never smoke the druid grass. She got me marrying my daughter. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. You rascals! I don't know if rascals is it for this. Be gone. I will not change my mind. I will propose to Kiana this very day. Oh no, don't ruin her singing lessons. The counselors were chased by criminals. R.A.P. the twins. Gathered in the corridor, they soon began. Oh, he's tripping. Look at him. They soon began arguing aloud, exposed to all the retainers who were passing by. Oh my god. The king has gone crazy. We had warned you. We should have gotten rid of him. You fools, this is your fault. The druid you paid so generously is a sham. He put some devilish thoughts into his head. Look at the result. You fiend, you rascal, be gone. It's killing me. It's just a sleight of hand. Remarrying the princess, he's trying to keep the kingdom under his yoke. Once the wedding is consummated, we will not be able to exile him anymore. Nor will we be able to ally with Kiona to take back power. We are at his mercy. Or at least I don't think he's thinking that deeply. It's still possible to appoint an assassin and yes. Enough! It's because of you extremists that we are in this bind. Oh my god, there's 3 of them! They're triplets! Really? If you schemers had managed to come to an agreement, maybe we would not be here. Us? Are you not the ones who let the druid do as he pleased? Let us face the fact. You loyalists are at fault. They soon came to blows. The news quickly spread in the whole castle like wildfire. Uh-oh. As she was coming back from her tutor, Princess Kiona took the opportunity to wander in the near-empty palace, still in a melancholic mood. One day, she had felt her father observing her, whether it be while singing in the garden, or later that day during other lessons. He had never stopped staring at her. She noticed his behavior for quite some time. She could not help but feel a deep unease. Was he, the man she had not seen for so many years, interested in her again? Was it an awkward way for him to make amends, as Nahima had said? Or was it for a far darker reason? Kiona had a bad feeling about this. Some other day she would have dismissed those thoughts, but today was special. The eyes are killing me. All day long, she'd been under the impression the servants were whispering things in her path. Something weird was definitely going on. Someone tell her. With a knot in her stomach, she shook her head nervously. I should stop thinking about it. It can only hurt me. She suddenly noticed the castle was bathed in sunset. Already that late? I must make haste. I promised Nahima I would pay her a visit. I know, I love those eyes. Every time it pops up. Oh no. Oh no. As the princess was walking toward the castle's kitchen, where most of the retainers were at the time, she felt a presence behind her back. Run. Reflexively, she turned back and caught a glimpse of a man standing before her. Her heart skipped a beat like never before, due to the surprise. Astounded, she tried to fan herself to get rid of the warmth that was spreading through her whole body. She needed a few seconds to recognize the solemn man, but any possible doubt had vanished. It was the king. Father, I have not seen you in so many years.
Are you surprised, my daughter?
Well, you seem to be avoiding me since the death of Mother.
I regret that very much. Have I made you suffer?
Yes, Father. I just want to speak with you again, if possible.
All these years, I was only inhabited by loneliness and bitterness. I did not want you to see me like this.
Don't lie. You didn't care about her.
Today, I've decided it cannot continue.
I am glad to hear that, Father.
Still petrified because of how surreal the scene was,
Kiona politely answered while
taking a closer look at the old man's faded and worn-out face.
And he always looked that tired, that aloof. She could not remember.
The unexpected presence of the king could have been a great moment of happiness for the young woman, but in the shadows of the looming night, you could glimpse a red light in his eyes, a crazed and bloodthirsty light. With each word, the king was getting closer, looking more and more threatening, like a raven spreading out its wings. The unease did not leave Kiona's fluttering heart.
Is that why you have come to see me, Father? A token of reconciliation?
Better than that. You want me to be by my side, do you not? I know of a way to bring us closer, but this hope rests on you. Do you love me?
I love you, like a daughter must love her father.
That's not what I want to hear. I love you, my daughter. I've decided to marry you. Oh no!
Kiona could feel her blood rushing through her veins. Cold sweat was running down her spine. She did not want to believe it.
My apologies, Father, but the church's teachings.
I don't care about those. Forget them.
I love you and I want to make you my spouse.
But I cannot. That would be a crime.
He cut her pleading short with a voice as sharp as steel.
I think you do not quite understand. You will marry me, whether you want to or not. I have your life in my hands. You have no choice but to obey me.
Terrified, Kiona glanced around her, but there was no way to escape. The king's imposing stature was blocking the corridor. And an overwhelming urge to run away was tormenting her from inside. She had to find a way. She tried to negotiate.
Please, at least give me some time to think about it.
The old king scowled at her, displeased. You have 1 hour. 1 hour, no more, no less. I will be in your bedchamber, finished thinking about my proposal. Book it, girl. He turned around and walked away, his cloak floating through the wind, leaving the princess lost and shocked. A dreadful marriage proposal. As he was vanishing from her field of vision, turned red by dusk, she let herself fall on the ground.
This is not what I wanted.
Get this guy out of here, throw him out. Leaving the princess to her sorrow, the old king went back to the druid who had advised him so well.
Druid, my confidant, speak frankly. Is my love for Kiana sinful?
Not if your feelings are mutual, your highness. Has she become enamored with you?
I do not know. She seems confused and shaken. Am I making a mistake?
That confusion is only natural, your highness. The princess is still young. She cannot analyze her feelings well yet. Exactly! She's too young, and also she's related to you. There's a beautiful village boy who's not blood related and knows how to cook. With some time, she will perfectly get used to it.
So I must give her time?
Someone get him out of here. This guy is a menace. What does he gain from this? He's a menace. I guess being close to the king and, reaping the rewards around him. More than time, she needs to forget her reluctance. For that reason, you should, for instance, answer to her every whim. If you shower her with presents, she will soon understand how strong your love is, your highness.
I will keep that advice in mind for after the wedding. Tell me, do you have a daughter?
Unfortunately, I do not, Your Highness, but if I had one, I would not think twice before marrying her! I'm gonna cry. Rinse all Rasputin. Being a king's friend must have its perks. Oh, for sure. It also puts you directly in the crossfire, though. And the crossfire is me shooting arrows at them both. That line is from the movie I mentioned. No! No! Why did the French do this? He do be a special kind of gross. I'm glad his silhouette couldn't talk when he slid off the screen at the start of the game. Oh, right, it's the same silhouette. Maybe he was beyond saving. He was beyond saving. Pleased with the druid's cajolery. No. King Thibaud got out of his cabinet, even more determined than before to make his daughter yield. Girl run. Girl run. After that overwhelming encounter, to say the least, Kiana went almost mechanically to her bedroom, then silently sat on her bed like a dislocated automaton. She found a bit of comfort in her misfortune. She now understood why the king seemed so weirdly reticent to marry her off. He wanted her for himself, but it was not morally acceptable. After all, he was the man who had conceived her. The principles she had been taught were quite clear about this. Had he gone crazy? Was he trying to damn her to hell? A rush of disgust violently seized her throat. No, this was not right. Deep in morbid thought, the princess hardly noticed the sound of hurried footsteps coming closer. The grating noise of the door made her jolt. Was he already? Oh, thank God. Fortunately, it was just Nahima, who seemed as scared as her. Oh my God, princess. I've just heard the news from the mouth of another servant, and I came here as fast as I could. Thank you, Nahima. Your effort was in vain. My father told me I had no choice and he would marry me, whether I wanted or not. The hour for thought I requested is almost over. There is nothing we can do. Don't say that, princess. There's still hope left. You'll be here in a matter of minutes. I will never be able to find a solution in such a short time. Time is what we need. Like my mother always said, it's not good to think in haste. We have to find a way to buy time to get yourself off the hook. How can I buy time without upsetting him? He seems as hurried as he is irritated. If I were to ask him for another delay, he would certainly refuse. Okay, we're about to get into a whole nother scene, I think, but we're about to get hit by the break. So, I'm gonna set the tea break again, only because I really want a croissant. I'm really desperate for a croissant. Oh my God, her face. It's as we like focus in on her suffering face. Kiona, you don't get it. I need a croissant so badly right now. I'll be back in a bit. I'll be back in a second. And then we'll deal with your misery. This is a croissant. This is crazy. I know that there was supposed to be like the incest plotline with the king, but I don't know. I completely like blacked it out. How could the French do this? How could they make such a divine croissant and then also make a movie with lines like that in it? Alright guys, I'll be back in a bit. I'll see y'all in a sec.
I'm back. I've had my croissant. Sad chat noir. How could the French do this?
See, it's kind of funny. Ocean Love is sung by Angan in the English version of the movie. But funnily enough, she also sings the French version of the song for the French version of the movie. So we got two of those in there. The French are everywhere. The French are doing so much. Okay, are we ready for this? Nahima, please find us a solution.
How can I buy time without upsetting him? He seems as hurried as he is irritated. If I were to ask him for another delay, he would certainly refuse.
Oh, oops.
Well, that's why you have to be sly. Rather than directly asking him for more time, pretend you demand a gift from him as a token of goodwill. A gift? That is to say, ask him for something so rare and complex it will be impossible for him to obtain. Thus, even if he manages to give it to you, you will have bought quite some time nonetheless. And if he does not keep his commitment? Oh, if he doesn't keep his commitment, even better. That is a good idea. However, I have to find something to ask him without sounding suspicious.
It's a French stream.
Oui. If I were to request some Far Eastern china from him, you could argue it is not necessary, or promise to buy some after our wedding. You're right.
Omelette du fromage. Nahima rubbed her chin with a pensive look. Ask for, like, I don't know. There's that one French dish that's really hard to make. Tell him if he can't make that, then we cannot be together.
All of a sudden, she clapped her hands. I know, princess. Demand he gives you a dress the color of time. It is common for a future bride to want new clothes to appear a proper lady in the arms of her spouse. He will not be able to refuse. Since time has no color, no tailor, even a fairy one, will ever manage to craft such a dress.
Oh, no tailor, even a fairy one will not be able to. Nahima, you are a genius. Smooch, smooch. Under the influence of relief, Kiona flew into her retainer's arms, who consequently went as red as a beetroot. That face is killing me. Princess, please! This was nothing! The two girls were so happy. They failed to notice the sound of footsteps in the corridor in time. What French dish I need to know? I don't remember what it was, but I remember watching the menu, one of the scenes from the menu, and someone in the comments was like, this specific dish was used in the scene because it is so difficult to make, but I don't remember which one it was. But I think it was in the menu. It's the one where the guy blows his brains out after making it. If that makes it any clearer. I think that was a French dish. I could be wrong. It was like something to do with bone marrow and like something else that was in there. Anyway, the two girls were so happy they failed to notice the sound of footsteps in the corridor in time. Look through all the foods and tell me if any of them are French. It's probably that one. Unless it wasn't French and I'm wrong. Someone knocked at the door. This time, there was no place for doubt. It was the king. It did look very tasty, though, I will say. And not a lot of food in the menu looked tasty. Not a lot of the food in the menu actually looked like something I would want to eat. But that one, I think it was tasty looking. Oh no. My daughter, are you here?
Quick, Nahima, hide under the bed. We cannot let him know you are here. No sooner said than done. Nahima slipped under the wooden frame. The wide bed sheets easily covered her, and Kiona only had to adjust their length to make sure she could not be seen. I'm coming, father.
With a shaky hands, the princess opened the door and let the king come in. His eyes were as piercing and hard as an hour ago. She could not help but gulp. Have you considered my proposal?
Yes, father. After pondering the issue, I have come to the conclusion that I cannot appear by your side without clothes fit for a queen. I want to honor you, and that is why I would like to slightly renew my wardrobe before the wedding.
The druid's advice immediately came to the old king's mind. The young woman was certainly about to express some whims of hers, and he could not pass on such an occasion to earn her trust. The king carefully listened. Speak frankly, dear daughter. How can you say that? And then, I'm listening. I will try my best to fulfill whatever wish you have.
Father, Please bear that I ask you address the color of time.
Color of time? What a strange whim of yours, but so be it. I will stick to my word. You will have this dress tomorrow evening, at the same time. With a solemn look, he left the room, delighted by the hope the heiress had given him.
Hey guys, just came here. Oh wow, what a nice father. He must love his daughter a lot. Mihima took advantage of this. What the fuck does he think he's gonna bring tomorrow? Like, why is he so sure?
Wow, you were wonderful, princess. You've managed to buy enough time to set up a plan. We still have to find one, however. Well, it's better to sleep on it. It's been a long and intense day. You must be exhausted. Get some rest and we'll think about it tomorrow morning. You're probably right, Mihima. That's true. It's a solution in every single one of... What was that game called again?
One that Boop's been playing.
That's always a solution in that game.
With a brooding and hazy mind, the princess quickly went to bed. There had to be a way to save her. Meanwhile, the king gathered the most talented crafters of the area, the best tailors there were, and he ordered them to make this dress in a day, otherwise they would be hanged. Terrified for their lives, they started their work right away, relentlessly working all night, while cursing this weird idea. A dress the color of time. What a caprice! One of these days I need to find out where that archive is.
On the dawn of the second day, the princess woke up earlier than usual.
I should probably save, actually.
Kiona was not in the mood to stay abed. I love her hair like that.
Like, they just, oh, it just looks so good.
She was pressed for time and her night had been scattered with the nightmares and untimely wakening. The Rabina scent was getting overwhelming, almost sickening. All she wanted was someone to help her get rid of this unbelievable situation. Still in her dressing gown, she sat on the edge of the bed and stroked her hair, waiting for the retainer who was in charge of her toilette.
There's a shortcut in the bottom right corner of...
Oh! 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 And that's where I can find my memories. And the gallery. Oh my god, wait, get back there. Oh wow!
Gustave Doré Frontispice. Introduction. Where you come from, you must have certainly heard of Charles Perrault insofar as his work Mother Goose Tales is universally read. You think that you know all there is to know about fairy tales thanks to his legacy, when it is in fact a far more extensive and complex subject than it appears. Perrault indeed takes his inspiration from oral traditions and folklore from his country, yet he does not give a faithful interpretation of them. On the contrary, he rewrites them as he wishes, with a fashionable style specific of his time. Thus, there are numerous adaptations, translations, and reworkings of the same stories through time. Fairy tales are not frozen. Each province, each country possesses its own variations that sometimes merge together in a surprising way. Yeah, it's like how Cinderella has like so many versions throughout like different cultures. Consequently, it is almost impossible to find the defined origin of a tale, even more so when there are traces of said tale in several distant countries around the same time. Oops. It is for all these reasons I invite you to travel with me. In addition to helping you collect your lost memory, maybe this Uchronia will make you discover the richness and diversity of fairy tales. In any case, that is all I wish you. Les petites acoudies. Chronotopia. Dusk admittedly proves to be slightly less beautiful. She is in reality witty and full of grace. So much that everyone enjoys her company better. Irate to see their favorite ignored, the king and queen resolve to get rid of her rival. What is this? Under the flimsy excuse of paying a visit to her godmother, they sent her in the forest of in the dark of the night, dawn and dusk, aura and crepuscule in French. Isn't Crepuscule used in like vampire stuff? I read a webtoon like forever ago that was called Crepuscule.
Have quite the appropriate names.
Oh, maybe it just means dusk, actually. Never mind. One embodies the morning's brightness, and the other the evening's simplicity. The younger daughter, nevertheless, remains the true protagonist of the story. I never understood I never even bothered to look it up, but I guess it was just that simple. Use the arrow to see the beginning? Yeah, it only means dusk. Never mind. I see. Gustave Doré, Donkeyskin. Donkeyskin is one of Charles Perrault's first fairy tales, originally published in rhyme. There is a later version written in prose, but its authenticity has never been established. Donkeyskin tells the story of a great monarch, virtuous in every way. He owns a curious donkey, which instead of emitting feces, produces golden coins at will. The animal is treated with regard, as it is the source of the kingdom's wealth and prosperity. Unfortunately, the king's happiness is short-lived as the queen falls critically ill. Dying, she makes him promise to never remarry unless it's with a woman even more beautiful than her, as she secretly thinks he will never succeed. Oh, okay. The sovereign agrees and grieves for her loss, but his mourning only lasts a few months. Wow. He is quick to move on and seeks a new spouse who would have more attractive traits than the previous one. Since no maiden is able to surpass the late queen, he turns to his own daughter, who meets all criteria, and decides to marry her. In the original, the king simply consults a casuist to ensure the legality of his endeavor. In the prose version, it is an old druid who deprives the king of any qualm concerning his evil deed. In both cases, he seems to fall in love with the poor princess with disconcerting speed. Yeah, it's like you can't... As much as I'm like, that druid is an issue, I'm like, no, like, you can't get past the fact that you're calling her your daughter and still, you know, throwing out all of, like, these love confessions and everything. Pressure cooked vegetables, roasted fillet, potato confit, beef, just, and bone marrow. That was it, yeah! Yeah, the menu is quite a messy movie. I really love it, but I honestly, like, that movie, I would rewatch it a million times. It's really fun, but it is also very, very dark and quite miserable. But it is a fun movie too.
Fairer than a fairy. There are actually two princesses who bear that name. The one in the eponymous Fairer Than a Fairy, 1698 by Ms. de la Force, and the one in The Rainbow Prince, quite a time after, by an anonymous author. Both have in common have been named that way by their father because of their peerless beauty, which stirs up the fairies' wrath. It is difficult to find a more conceited name than Fairer Than a Fairy. Plus belle que fille in French.
Oh, the French. Interesting. Anyway, here we go. The archive is a really nice touch. I love it. It makes me think of like those moments in 428 Shibuya whenever we got pulled away from the story. Not even pulled away, but they just give us a choice to like, you can look into what this is, by the way. Just click the text box and like, you know, get into some random things here and there. I'm like, this is great. I like that, you know, it's like a separate choice to just read up on all these extra things. But yeah.
Good morning, princess. You already awake?
I did not sleep. You are late. Have you fallen in the saucepan? Have you fallen in the saucepan? What? The saucepan? Come now. What are you even saying?
I was simply thinking that you might have gotten lost along the way since I could not see you.
Oh,
I understand. You would have wanted me to come earlier, is that right? And yet I'm here at the usual time, princess. Admittedly. However, following yesterday's events, I have had quite a bad night. I would have appreciated a little consolation, that is all.
It gives a taste of the creator's inspirations. Exactly. I think it's a nice way to kind of give the readers more info into like how you came up with lots of things, and also like what was kind of on your mind during the writing process. It's like in 428 Shibuya where like, I mean, you'll get like little random story things thrown in there, but also just like, what is this meal? You know, do you want to know more about this dish that I just got really interested in? Because I can tell you like a paragraph's worth about it. And I'm like, thank you. Because there are some visual novels that like will just throw a bunch of things in the dialogue, and it's like, we didn't really need to go on a tangent. That being said, if you make it a choice, I like it a lot more, because then I'm like, oh, I actually did want to know about this, but as a separate thing, you know, not in the dialogue box, not like kind of like, you know, going on a tangent inside the story. But I like when it's separate. The young retainer frowned.
Ah, princess, you should have told me so. I hardly got the chance. It'll happen very quickly.
So be it. Let us move on to other matters. I must still get dressed after all.
What am I thinking? Naturally.
The lady-in-waiting set to do her work, all while still talking.
You know, princess, I still spent a great deal of my evening thinking about your father's demand and about a potential plan of action.
I am all ears.
Any help is welcome. I believe it would be wiser to tell your private tutor that you are sick. It would grant us more leeway to conduct some research.
A very good idea, Nahima. Do you already know what to do?
You'll probably not believe me, but I saw your mother in a dream last night. What? I remembered something. After your birth, it was said that she'd given you the fairy's blessing.
The fairy's blessing?
Well, it's just a rumor, but I mean, there should be some truth in that statement. If your mother did leave something useful to you, I mean, we could use it to save you.
Yuna skeptically stared at the young Moor.
I would love to believe in magic too. But these are all legends, and I'm too old to be fooled by this nonsense.
Nahima raised her voice while making wide, frenetic gestures.
I know it must sound ridiculous, but I believe in those legends. I think your mother had the fairy's blessing and passed it on to you, and I am ready to prove it.
It's also a way to promote lesser-known fairy tales. I'm a huge fairy tale nerd and like to share the ones I find the most interesting. Yeah, I don't know a lot of like the more lesser-known ones for sure. So it's nice to hear about all of that.
And how are you going to do that? I'm gonna leave the castle for the day and investigate in a nearby hamlet. I'm sure some old countrywoman will be able to give me information about the true meaning of this rumor.
In that case, I'm going to have a look around the Great Library. Maybe some dusty books will teach me how to get rid of the madness that has taken hold of my father. Let us part ways and meet again tonight in my bedroom to talk about our findings. May the best of us win.
It's a deal. You seem quite confident, princess, but don't underestimate the power of old legends. Magic does exist, and I'm gonna prove it.
Once done with the toilette, Nahima parted from the princess and quickly set off, convinced she had found the best lead. What aura et crepuscule, dawn and dusk? Left to her own devices, the heir sighed and went towards the library, dawdling on the way. Laziness was taking hold of her with each step, and everything seemed pointless. Her heart was looking for an escape, but her brain was telling her again and again that there was no miracle she could hope for. The only thing she could do in the meantime was pray. Oh, that's a lovely library. Oh my god. Who did the art for this game? Like for the backgrounds and stuff? Every time I see a library though, I get flashbacks, I get trauma. Like a drawn library. But this one is even more beautiful because each of like the books has its own design and cover and things. Like this was painstakingly done. The dusk that welcomed her as she entered the dark room only increased her distress.
Carrying a candle, she inspected the shelves, looking for a ray of hope. Most of the books the king owned were written transpositions of epic poems, lyric lays, or chivalric romances. The few treatises on science were all gathered in a small corner. The artist is Machai Cat. Ooh! I'm just gonna look them up really quick. They've done amazing on it. I found their Instagram. Oh my god. Yeah, it seems like their lighting work is just phenomenal. Oh my god, and their traditional art too. Oh, they've got a lot of good art. Okay. I'm getting distracted. Liber Simplicis Medicinae by the Abbess Hildegard of Bingen, translated from German. This may be what I need. She sat down at a table and glanced over the book. Descriptions of plants and medicinal value were passing under her eyes, but nothing of value. What was I thinking? No book can get me out of this mess other than black magic or alchemy books. Alchemy? Oh boy, do I have a pair to help you? Am I really this desperate? Kiona closed the treaty of medicine with a bitter pout. If truth be told, she had suspected her approach would be unsuccessful, but she had hoped this false sense of action would be enough to regain her courage. What I need would be to bring my father to his senses. There is no plant that can help me change his mind. Have you tried hemlock? That might be useful. Disheartened, the princess put the imposing tome back and decided to spend the rest of the day alone in the dark yet soothing room. To pass time and forget her sorrow, she grabbed Clegius, some courtly literature she knew rather well. Was there anything better to forget the passing of time? Clegius, grandson of the Emperor Alexander of Constantinople, and nephew of Gawain from the Arthurian legend. Gawain! I love Gawain. Was a brave knight who achieved many feats. Wronged by his uncle Alice, he falls deeply in love with Phineas, who is, I'm not pronouncing all these wrong, who is destined to be the bride of the former. No! He finds his love reciprocated since Phineas is impressed by his achievements. The lovers quietly suffer, but decide not to hide and live openly with their feelings. They hatch an escape plan so they can live freely. However, the uncle eventually dies from sorrow, which lets him seize the throne and celebrate their wedding. I'll just kill him with sorrow. Fiona closed the book. Since her childhood, she had been told she was born to become a queen. She always aspired to become one. She secretly hoped to be married to a king who would be powerful but young enough. She had hoped to be bound to someone who could have feelings for her. Her chances were infinitesimal. Royal weddings were political above all else. There was no way to follow the wishes of the heart, yet the possibility still existed somewhere. There could be a Clegus waiting for her to be his Phineas somewhere on this earth. Putting the tome back on the shelf, the heiress felt even more aggrieved than when she entered the library. Fleeing is never a good option, as Nahima rightly said. You forget everything for a while, but reality just hits you more harshly thereafter. You wouldn't have any options. As she was returning to her bedroom, Kiona looked at the amber sky. It would be wiser not to let my father wait indefinitely. If I do not find a solution, postponing my fate would just anger him even further. While walking in the castle's corridor, the princess could not help but feel curious about the results of Nahima's investigation. It was their only lead, however implausible it could be.
outfit change, Nahima. Once in her room, Kiona was welcomed by the great smile on her servant's face. A bit out of breath, her cheeks pink for having walked for a while, the young woman gave a triumphal look. How did your investigation go, Princess?
Poorly, unfortunately. What about you? Would you believe it? I actually managed to find the information I wanted. Witnesses of your baptism recalled seeing a fairy during the ceremony. They confirmed that she gave you her blessing.
It's impossible. ... I'm going with really? Oh! Fiona was startled. She'd never been very superstitious, but like all good believers, she knew higher beings could sometimes play with humans' fates. Could it be that fairies were real after all? I swear on my life, during the great celebration that was given in your honor, all the farmers and crofters and merchants nearby were invited. Some were given the right to get significantly close so they could see the fairy for themselves. I asked several people, so there is no doubt about it. And what do you know about this blessing? How can I use it? If I get what the grandmother told me right, the blessing allows you to invoke the fairy to your aid. This is exactly what I need. Nahima, it is wonderful. You did it. Not quite, Princess. I do not know how you can call your fairy godmother. I do not even know her name. That is unfortunate. If I have no way to contact her, we are back to our starting point. Not quite. Now that we know, we just have to investigate a bit further. The oldest retainers in the castle, those who knew your mother fairly well, might know how she managed to talk to the fairy. We just need a bit more time. More time? Sound of someone pounding the door cut them short. When she opened the door, Kiona discovered a handful of crofters who had come to bring the dress, the color of time the king had requested. She was told to wear it and go to the royal cabinet where she was expected. What? With an aching heart, the young woman complied. Is that the color of time? When she entered the room, wearing the dress the color of time, King Thibord was enthralled with her charm. The workers had done an excellent job. There were simply too many ruffles on that, for my taste. The result fitted her like a glove. Shyly, she then requested a new one, frantically looking for an idea in her racing mind. She ordered that it would be the color of the moon. The king, who could not refuse her demands, immediately urged the same tailors and embroiderers that had created the previous work to come, and he gave them the same instructions. I'd be like, that's not the color of time. In what universe is that the color of time? Once again, fearing for their lives, they complied as quickly as possible. Thus began the same little game. The next day, Kiona and Nahima hurried towards the kitchens, where most of the castle's retainers met. Looking for clues, the two young women were determined to make the most of the time they were given. It has been so long since the last time I came here. This place is as restless as in my memories. It was hard not to agree with the heiress. The kitchens were always thronged with people, no matter the time of day. Servants were hurried going in and out in a great bowl of plates and utensils, while a sweet scent was in the air. That's because time and weather are the same word in French. I wanted time. The artist went for weather, like in the movie. Ah. What does it mean, time and weather? What's the word for that in French? That's so annoying! They found a loophole. The cooks gathered around the great table and chatted in a general cacophony while making the kingly meal. If the kitchens are incommodious to you, Princess, you can go back to your quarters to rest. It should be all right, Nahima. We are here to investigate. I do not intend to fall at the first hurdle. Very well. Let's question the group I see over there. They seem to have the gift of the gab. No sooner had she spoken than the lady-in-waiting led Kiona to a quieter corner of the room with a firm push of the hand. I'm surprised all these like little characters get like their own sprites. Like that's really cute. I also just love their designs.
2 cooks and an assistant seemed more busy talking than peeling vegetables. It's temps, or tomps, I guess.
Oh, interesting. Tomp, like time, and temp, like weather. Interesting. We really just took in whatever we could from the French and we just turned it into whatever we wanted. We made it time. Did time, the word, come from something else then? I'm assuming we got temps from the French and we turned that into temperature. As opposed to weather. But where do we get the word time from? You don't pronounce it the last 2 letters, it's confused. Oh. So it's tem. So it's tem. Did we get time from tem then? Or did we get it from like a different language?
They instinctively looked up at their interlocutor. Their expression completely changed upon noticing the princess.
Ah! They all jumped in unison, and one of the cooks, bolder than her colleagues, moved forward to greet her.
Alienor? Your Majesty, it's like an honor to see you among us today. May I help you with anything? Would you like to know what we're cooking for tonight's meal?
I'd like to know. God, I'm hungry.
Unless you're here to learn details about the preparations for your wedding ceremony.
Well, actually, The other cook cleared her throat and elbowed her neighbor. Melisande? Definitely a wondrous event, right, Adelphi? He answered with the same awkward tone. Absolutely, Melisande. We're so proud of our princess. The retainers were so profusely complimenting her out of courtesy that the princess could not speak as she wanted. She still made a second attempt.
To return to the reason of my presence, I would like to. Would you like me to guide you through the kitchen so that you can admire our work?
Nahima came closer to Kiona and discreetly whispered to her. Princess, I'm afraid that the retainers will refuse to speak in your presence. They're like too scared of displeasing you. I suggest that you play along and follow Aliena while pretending to inspect the kitchens. Meanwhile, I will question Adelphi and Melisande, who seem more flippant. Okay, I trust you.
I suppose we cannot help it. I will content myself with being the diversion. Be my eyes and ears, Nahima. I am counting on you.
Thank you, Princess. I will be worthy of your trust. Have no fear. The heiress used a slightly more commanding tone. Very well. Let us go, Alina. Show me what you are doing.
Right away, Your Majesty.
The seer servant took her roll to hot and dragged Kiona a bit further away, to the 2 other retainers' relief. I thought my heart was gonna burst. Tell me about it. Kabikir and doubts should not be allowed. They turned to Nahima with a derisive look. So what about following Her Majesty all the time? Is that not too hard? One wrong word and it's the dungeons for you. I would not feel at ease if I were you. I mean, you get used to it. Tell me, you seem to know quite a lot, and as it happens, I need some information. A jeering rictus crossed Adelphi's face. Tell us, we'll see what we can do for you. Have you heard of this rumor saying that a fairy had been invited to the princess's baptism? The 2 servants threw knowing looks at each other while giggling. For sure, for sure. Melisande added seriously. We even saw the fairy. It's true? Could you tell me how to make her appear? I'd like to meet her. We can't tell you that. Why? Information like that needs to be handled carefully. We have to be sure that you're sincere. By doing us a favor first. Like, I've lost my purse, and if you can bring that back to me, then I'll tell you what I know. And how am I supposed to find it? I have left it in the library on one of the desks. Ugh! These guys are lying. May I know what its contents are so I can be sure it's yours? No way, this is a private matter. Retrieve it or I won't tell you anything. Oh, wait, what? Ah! It's turned into an adventure game. Even if it is arduous to guess what is being stewed over the fire, the delicious odor that is coming from the pans put a stop to any thought. I'm hungry! That is a sign, if anything. The retainers were working on a wooden table covered with victuals, each one more mouth-watering than the last. Like, this is just done so well. All the little, like, details here just look so lived in. To them. They refuse to say more. Fine. I can explore! Hi, hungry. Phaeton. I swear to God. I swear. Ooh! Oh! Oh my god, I love this map. This is so cute. We have to go to the library. I want to go to the cabinet. A meeting between all the counselors seemed to be taking place in the king's cabinet. Whatever the important matter at the center of the concern was, the retainer did not dare approach until the assembly was over. I wouldn't either. I'm surprised we weren't allowed in here. Even if she was well acquainted with the place, venturing into the garden still represented a breath of fresh air in this world made of stone. I got saved by Coco's baby level attention span. The game just jingles some keys. I know. I'm so easy to please sometimes. This was especially true on a beautiful day like this one. I love the garden scene the most. The plants and everything. Oh. Nahima had a mission. It was in no way time to dawdle. But what if we dawdled a little bit? The luxurious plants were growing in the shade of the leaves. This was a place Nahima went to every morning to pick the fresh flowers that would decorate the princess's room for the day. Fountains were where the retainers came to drink water, which was necessary for a great number of tasks. When the weather is fair, it is tempting to come here and soak your feet in the water. Wait, they drink the water and they soak their feet in it too? Maybe they drink it from the top and then they soak their feet in the bottom. Ah! Let's go. Some retainers were making haste through the castle's corridors. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Not the feet water. These were old times. There wasn't much choice. Nahima could not help but cast a glance at the dressing table to check her appearance. Almost without thinking, she passed a hand through her hair while whispering, "Will you ever notice me?" Ooh. Unless she's telling that to the mirror. But I know what she means. Kiona's bedroom, since she spent most of her time here. Nahima obviously knew every nook and cranny. There is something most magical about sitting quietly on the great bed in the absence of the princess. That was unfortunately not enough to justify staying here when there were more urgent matters. Yes, Nahima, what are we doing, dawdling around? The servant's eyes were drawn to a spray of colors, as she did every morning. She had brought a new bouquet to embellish the princess's room. Draw water. Water was not very drinkable back then, so I assumed they're drinking apple juice. Oh! I read drink water. I was like, wait a minute. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I think like there was a common concern with like drinking water to the point where people would like drink beer and stuff instead. And they would give children like watered down beer because it was just like drinking water was just not a thing because of how dangerous it was and how, you know, unsanitary it was. Nahima was especially proud of today's flower arrangement, and she was counting on doing a good job the day after as well. Although well water typically is like it's usually not contaminated unless it's contaminated well water. But yeah, well water is typically like mostly safe to drink. But who knows what they're doing? Who knows what they're doing and throwing in there? I probably wouldn't trust it either way. All right, let's go steal a thing.
As she was glancing at the well-stocked bookcases, the retainer could not help wondering if any of those books was useful to someone.
Wow. Like reading? Ugh. Get that out of my face.
Nahima had always been surprised at how flippantly the books were put in order. It exemplified all too well how neglected the library was.
Maybe she's like, where are my cool YA Fae books? Where are those?
Nahima caught sight of a big leathery purse on one of the desks, just like Adelphi had told her. She took it with hesitation.
I would look in. If I have a choice, I'm gonna look in it. It's weird that he refuses to tell me what's inside. What would he do in the library? He doesn't know how to read. Only lettered people come here.
Lost in thought, she did not hear the silhouette creeping behind her.
Oh! May I know what you are doing with my purse? Nahima jolted and turned back towards her interlocutor. It was a young cleric she had never seen before. Uh-oh. You really can't take it. I need its contents. So, how can I know it's yours? Open it. I've got nothing to hide. There's a reed pen and a clay tablet. That's the latest register about the distribution of the King's Salt. I was looking for my equipment so that I could transcribe it on the general register in paper format. Glancing inside, Nahima had to admit the young copyist was right. I'm so sorry. 2 kitchen servants told me they'd lost their purse here and that I had to retrieve it for them. Oh, Adelphi and Melisande, I bet. That's nothing. Oh no. He's getting bullied by them.
It's been a long day, gonna eat me now. Thank you for stream. Good night, chat. Good night, Baton. I hope you have many nice dreams and maybe one bad dream. Have a lovely time. He sat in front of a desk, shrugging with an apathetic look. My name is Constantine. Some of the servants have taken a dislike to me since I came here. They keep playing pranks and making fun of me. I'm used to it by now.
The lady-in-waiting could not help but give a faint, sad smile.
I'll let them know what I think of such behavior.
Well, that's nice of you. Well then, I have to work on my register. Have an excellent day. Constantine, his poor bullied boy. Oh, I guess I could just talk to him. All right, let's go back and tell them what's what. Guys, bullying is not okay. Bullying is not okay. He came back to Adelphi and Melisande, livid. You got me there, you rascals. Are you not ashamed of disturbing Constantine's work? The poor soul never asked for this. The 2 retainers giggled. Oh, just a prank. Nothing to get angry over. That's true. Besides, he deserves it with a face like his, being so serious. Stop this mockery at once. Are you gonna tell me what you know? Yes or no? The looks became irritated. We know nothing of the princess's baptism. We weren't even born. If you wish to beat your fairy that much, go see Bartholomew, one of the king's advisors. He should know something. I much prefer that. Yeah, actually they wouldn't have known. Wait, they wouldn't have known about the fairy because they would have been like babies themselves or not even born. After making eye contact with Kiona, who was ending her tour with Elena, the young servant called the princess over. She complied at once, too glad to escape. The 2 of them rushed toward the royal cabinet, where the councillors would regularly gather. Goodbye. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, it's Counselor Twin number 1. So excited to finally talk to him. Bartholomew?
In the flesh. I'm surprised to see you here, princess. It's been quite some time since I last saw you. Well, my presence seems to upset my father. I know. Nevertheless, you have grown up so fast. It is a pity not to see you assume the throne in a more conventional manner. A hint of sadness appeared on the old man's face. Bartholomew! You who know so many things. Were you present during my baptism? It is said a fairy was there. Well, I'm astounded that you have heard of this story. To be honest, as your mother's right hand at the time, I was invited as a guest of honor. Unfortunately, I fell sick after getting drenched from an important journey a few days prior, to the extent I was far too ill to attend the festivities. Oh. The princess looked so disappointed, she could not hide it. If you really want to know more, I'd advise you to find Jean, one of the laundry women. She is a discreet woman whom nobody notices, but she knows when and where to listen. She's aware of almost everything happening in the castle. She must have an acquaintance who could inform you. I will ask her. Thank you, Bartholomew. It is always a pleasure, princess. Take care of yourself. Bartholomew! The two young women left the council room unsatisfied. You told me you were directed to this man by the servants, but he knew nothing. Unfortunately, those are the hazards of an investigation, princess. Finding the right person can take time. Admittedly, but time is going by, and I cannot afford to wander through the castle in this pivotal moment. I know. I hope we have better luck with Jean. I'm glad he wasn't Bartholomew. I know. He's fortunately Barthela good. Bye! We're almost at 3 hours. I did say I'd only be able to stream for about 3 hours today, which is a lot shorter than usual. But I'm gonna stop here while we're in like investigation mode. Let's go to the gardens. Let's hang out in the gardens for a bit. I'm gonna save. And I shall continue at hopefully around 5 tomorrow. Like an hour earlier than we started today. But I've been enjoying this a lot. I think it's really fun. I think this is just like, it's nice learning about little folklore tales and everything. Especially since I don't know too many of them. And we were literally talking about how fun like folklore legends and things and how they can get turned into different things are like just a little bit before this, I think. When it was like, when we were talking about the water stuff. What was that from actually? The water stuff. Oh! It was from Infinity Nikki! The legends of the water that can like kill you if they touch you. The rain, yeah, the dangers of rain. And how that likely led to lots of different folklorian legends about the dangers of wandering around in the rain. Because it's dangerous journeying like back in those times in the rain. And so they'd make up a lot of like crazy stories about it. But anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna go make some food because I'm so hungry. This is a fun stream. I'll come back again. Of course you can. You're absolutely welcome whenever you want when I'm streaming. You can hang out here when I'm not streaming. That's fine too.